Hey everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. You guys have been hanging out with me for quite a while now. We've been doing this for a little over a year, and I hope you're still enjoying the videos. It's fun to do. I enjoy doing them, and I like hanging out with you guys. But every story, as we all know, has a beginning. Every story has to start somewhere. There's a how, a why, a where, a what at the beginning of every story out there. You guys have learned a lot about my story over the last year and about what Nobody's has turned into with over 1,000 cars on the ground and the buildings of parts and project cars and restored cars. And you've been hanging out with me and seeing what we do and why we do it. And I do it because I love it and it's fun. But like I just said, there's always a beginning. Well, tonight we're going to show you the beginning. I'm at the beginning right now. Right where I'm sitting right now is the beginning of what I have now. We're sitting in one of my dad's lots. Now, if you hung out with us last year, you saw the lot of cars we were cleaning off my dad's place, moving to mine. He'd sold that property, so we were getting all those cars he had there moved to my yard. Well, he's got another lot too, and we're working on it now, getting it cleaned up. He's probably sold about half the cars out of here over the last 5 or 10 years as he's been winding down and working into retirement. But where we're at right now is where it started. Literally, we are at ground zero of where it started. This building behind me, you see, was the first building that my dad and my grandpa bought in 1978. This building behind me was actually a Chrysler dealer back in the 40s, and it was a Phillips station. We take a look here. I've got these pictures of this building years ago. This is probably, I'm guessing, back in the early 70s. Unfortunately, we don't have the gas pump or anything anymore. They bought this building in 78 when they had an auction. And this type of stuff, the gas pump and stuff back then, they were just novelties. Believe it or not, that gas pump, they couldn't even get a bid on it at the auction. They hauled it off and threw it in a junk pile. So unfortunately, they didn't get a lot of that stuff bought back at the auction, but they bought this building, and that's where my dad and my grandpa started working on their old cars at. At the time, this strip right here that we're looking at along the side of the building was about all the property they had here with the building. So, as my dad and my grandpa were working on some of their old cars, they started buying a few parts cars, and they were lining them up right here where we're sitting right now. And they were just using them because they needed pieces to fix a couple cars. They bought a 58 Buick that was wrecked, so they bought a 58 Buick to get parts off of it. And there was 6, 8, 10 cars lined up here. Well, once my dad had a few cars sitting here, he started selling a few parts off of them. And one thing led to another, led to another, led to another. And, and eventually about 20 years ago, when he kind of was at a maximum level out here, there was probably 350 cars out here that he had. And then I bought the property at Nobody's in 2010, which was a regular late model production salvage yard, and they crushed that out, and then I bought that property and those buildings to expand to there. So anyway, back to our story. Right here is where it all started. This is the beginning of it. This is where I cut my teeth. All these cars we're looking at, this is what I cut my teeth on. 50s Buicks primarily is where I learned on, and where I started at. So I spent about all my weekends when I was out here as a little kid. I spent a lot of time mowing between these cars, trying to keep the weeds down, pulling parts, helping Dad haul cars in. And so that's where we're at right now. We're at the beginning. So in case you were wondering, this is it. This is the start of it all, right here where we're sitting. All these cars in here, we're getting ready to start moving. We'll give you maybe 1 or 2 real quick walk-arounds in here. Just so you kind of get a glimpse of what's coming in. I probably won't spend a lot of time on each car till we get them moved. As we start getting them moved in, we'll give you a little more detailed walk-arounds. But we'll put a couple of quick walk-around videos together out here just so you can see what's coming in and get some more detailed stuff later on. But anyway, like I said, I've had a lot of people ask, how'd you get started? How'd you get into this? Well, this is it. We're at ground zero of where it started, where I grew up. Right here around all these 50s Buicks basically is where it started. So that's the nickel tour of how I ended up where I'm at today, how I got into the old car business and have grown to where I am now. But I mean, it's been fun and I enjoy it, and that's why I do it. That's why I do it, because I love it. That's why I hope you guys are here with me, because you love it. So anyway, we're going to show you a few of these cars, and hope you enjoyed the story of how it all started. But it's literally this building, this little strip of land right here, and even this stuff over here. My dad didn't even own this property when he bought the building. So even this lot right here, where we're right next to us, came a little bit later. So anyway, we'll just start looking right here. This is a 50 Buick Super 4-door. I remember when he bought this car. I was probably 11, 12 years old, come from a little town just to the east of us. It's been here a long time. I bet that car's been here, like I said, since the mid-'80s probably. So next to that, we've got a 54 Buick. Most of the front clip's gone off of this car. But and just a 4-door, but I think it was a Roadmaster. A lot of good pieces still on it. And there again, if you flatten them, there's nothing good anymore. So even though this car's definitely rough, let's take a look here. Yep, it's a model 72R, so it was a 54 Roadmaster. And next to that, we've got a 55 Buick Super. So we're going to cut this one off. I know we're running a little long. I know I kind of got off on my story a little bit, but I get the question quite a bit, and this is it. This is where it all started. This is where I started. This is where my grandpa and my dad started this stuff, messing with this stuff back in the late 70s, where I grew up learning it, and how I got to where I am today. So hope you enjoyed the story. Hope I didn't bore anybody to death. And as always, you got any questions about cars or parts, just give me a shout, 620-786-4428. If you're on Facebook, please like the page and tell your friends. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel and let your buddies know about me. And we're going to keep doing them as long as you guys want to see them, and keep having some fun. So thanks for watching tonight. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you taking a few minutes to hear my story, and we will catch you on the next episode.